If you want to see me create a second look using the Mothership 5 by Pat McGrath, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another video using the Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction by Pat McGrath. I did do a first impressions with this palette. If you are curious, I will put it right there. And it's time to do a second look, and it's also time to fill a request, and in this case it was for Carly Mist, and she asked to use the bronze color in this palette, and I have played a little bit with the color to decide what it is that I want to do today, and I'm pretty confident in what I decided to do, so let's crack right into it. I'm already opening up the package, and I have a bunch of other Pat McGrath shadow looks. I will leave a ton of links in the description box if you want to see more with this palette, and if you want to see more with a bunch of different six pans, take a look below. Okay, and it's full of fingerprints, but oh well, that is what it is. Of course, the heavy-duty packaging and the 10 shadows within. Now the bronze color that we're talking about is this one right here. So that is one that will be primary in what I choose to do with this palette today. And I did choose a few shadows. So I decided I was going to use this one, likely this one, and what am I missing? Oh, this one on the brow bone. And then the mattes. And so I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to wear all that much. I'm going to figure that out as I go, but I do want to mention that I did set my eye primer with the color Wheat and Drizzle from the Smashbox Matte Exposure, which is my Matte palette for this year, continuing on from 2019. I think you're completely filled in. Let's see here. What am I going to start off with? I'm planning on using a lot of shadows, so I want to keep the rest of it pretty basic as I can with this palette. I'm going to start off with a fluffy brush with this matte right here and just cover up some of that mauve color. I was planning on doing a look with the Blitz Astral Nocturnal Nirvana. I've done 2 looks so far with that one, and then I just remembered Carly's request and I thought, no, let me go back to the Mothership 5. And I'm happy because I've only done 1 look with this palette so far. So let's go with a fluffy brush into that matte brown, get that started, and then we'll see where we go from here. And I'm not kidding about a fluffy brush. This is a Quo brush, Canadian brand, and it is very fluffy. And I think it's just called the Crease Brush. It's very hard to read now. I can't read it anymore. I keep forgetting that this is the one brush where it's completely illegible. Okay, I just tapped off the excess and I'm going in and I'm going to do one eye and then recreate the other eye off camera this time, I think. Sometimes I do a fast forward, like sped up second eye, and sometimes I do it off camera. If you have a preference, because I really don't know what regular video viewers like. I just go with my gut, and I'm not going to say my gut is right all the time. So let me know if you have an opinion. When I do fast forward through a look, I put music and try to make it as enjoyable as possible. Okay, that was really effortless. I have a good base on, and I think that did help. I'm going to take that same shadow and just bring it down on the lower lid using an angled brush. And this is a brush I'm talking about. This is just a plain Jane Sephora brush. And I put it on the side that I'm going to be using. So I have more control because I go just on one edge of the brush. My lower lids are not that big, so I need to make sure I don't overdo it. I think that looks good, and I think I'm going to intensify the outer lid and outer crease with a different brush. I can usually get away with that angled brush, but I feel like using this one today, and that is my Smashbox Shadow Full Coverage Shadow Brush. Same matte, and going on the outer lid, just packing it on more visibly. I like how finely milled the mattes are in this palette. That is helpful to build them up and manipulate them as much as I want. And another one that has amazing mattes is the Stila Happy Hour. Wow, what a palette for mattes. The majority of the palette is not mattes, but the 4 mattes, if I remember right, 4 mattes, they are so good. If you want to see more on that Stila Happy Hour palette, I'll put a video right there for you. Okay, I'm liking it just a little bit more. I'm just defining that edge with the lower lid. I did a really good job of defining the edge. Let me just diffuse that a little bit. Okay, I like that. I like the progression. It looks pretty good. I don't feel like I want to do a whole lot more, so let's go into the other colors. And I'm thinking that I want to go with, going to go with this one on the brow bone, but also on the inner to 1/3 of the lid with 2 different brushes. So first off, for the brow bone, I'm going to use this brush right here and go into that first shade. Should give you the color name here. So the one going on the brow bone is the Skin Show Divine Glow. And I'm putting it right on the brow bone, even though I put a different highlighter on the brow bone earlier. It's that holographic blush and highlighting palette from Sephora that I had on before. If you don't know what I'm talking about this one. I did a video swatching this palette and was really impressed, and it is in fact really, really, really good. If you can still find it, it was on clearance for a ridiculously low price. I don't know if they still have it, but yeah, chef's kiss to this one. Now I'm going in on the inner lid, and I'm going to use my multitasker brush. So that's what that one looks like. It's a pyramidal brush that is really kind of interesting. And I'm going to go inner corner and inner to 1/3 of the lid, as I said I would. Okay, and I want to go just with a little bit of a finger, staying really close to the inner to 1/3 of the lid. I don't want to do more than that. I think that's plenty. And I think I want to go even more further in. And this one is pointy enough that I can probably get into the inner corner. And I'll also go on the lower inner lid on the bottom as well. Okay, it's subtle, but it looks pretty good. Okay, now I feel like I have my full base for the color. What I want to do now is this bronze color, you can have full opacity, or you can use it as a topper. It just depends how much you put on your finger or brush when you're going through. So if you're using a brush, use maybe a fluffier brush where you have more control, because a denser brush will just give you that opacity that I personally today am not looking for. So wiping off my finger, I'm going to go into this bronze color and hopefully get this kind of an effect. You can still see my skin through it, but you don't have that full opacity, and it does give, there's a pinky peach undertone to the bronze color, so I'm hoping that that's what's going to show up on the entire lid. Just so I don't get more sparkle on the outer lid, I think I'm going to apply this one in a sheer fashion from the outer lid to the inner lid. So let's go right into it. I'm going very lightly into it. I'm just going to tap as opposed to pull on the lid. There is a little bit of tackiness to it, but not a huge amount. Okay, I'm just going to reapply a tiny bit so I can get into the inner lid. I have some fallout out here, but it's not looking bad at all. It looks very wearable, nothing too weird. I could definitely get away with going to the office like this, but I do want to do a little bit more. So I just wiped my finger and I want to talk about this one. So the bronze was the bronze blaze, and now this one is the Astra Luna Gold. And I want to do a little bit of a punch with this color on the very, very inner lid to draw a little bit of attention right to the inner portion of the eye, but not on the inner corner, if that makes sense. To do that, I am going to go in with this brush, which is a bit of a more rounded brush, and it's the Morphe MB27. Going into that, what's it called, Astra Luna Gold. And this one it has gold and blue to it. It's a kind of an interesting color. I'm going to go back in and just give a little bit of a gold look to the bronze right in the inner lid. So there's a little bit of a gradient from light gold to bronzy chocolate. And that takes it more to an evening look, but I don't mind. I think it looks really good. I'm only going to do that on the upper lid. I am really liking the look. So I'm going to take care of fallout on this side. But apart from that, I think that I am done, unless, do I want to do liner? Oh, what the heck. I think I'm going to go back into this brown and do a more intense liner on the lower lid. To attempt that, I'm going to use the Precision Smudger from Smashbox. It's a very, very tiny smudger brush, and I'm going to see if I can do some decent liner on the lower lid. Okay, I think that looks pretty good, and when I have liner on the upper lash line, it's going to kind of balance out the eye. But I think that looks really quite nice, and I don't want to add any more shadow. I think that this is plenty. It's pretty, really goes from very light to deep. I like it. I really do like it. Okay, I'm going to go off camera. I will do the other eye and be back to talk about finishing touches. Okay, I confess, this is the final look. I thought I was going to come back with just the eyeshadow done and then do the rest, but I wasn't really doing anything super complicated or extreme with the rest, and I just thought, let me just not waste your time and go straight to the punchline. But I do have to talk about a lot of what I did beyond what I said I would do off camera. So, lots to talk about. First off, let's talk about what I did in this palette. So I ended up using this brown as my liner on the lower lid and the upper lid. So I was not planning on doing that. I thought I was going to use a liquid liner, but the brown was so appealing to me, I just decided to use it lower, upper, It looks good to me and I had no issues with it. Now for this one, which is the Astral Luna Gold. Gosh, these names. I used it on the very, very inner to 1/3 of the lid. And you saw me do that with the brush, but I went back with my pinky and pressed it in, and I think that you will see a big difference between the intensity now and the intensity before I came back. It just changed the look completely. So I'm glad I have a wash of bronze, but that I have that punch of gold on the inner third of the lid, and that's not something I do very often. So I'm happy with the look, and I feel like that really is that, what do you call, area of interest in the eye look. So I'm happy. Very, very neutral, but that inner third is just captivating, and I'm very, very happy with that. As far as other liners, I have two more, and you'll see them on my hand here. The one on the bottom, the brown one, is Demolition from Urban Decay. It is one of my favorite liners. I use it for colorful looks. I use it for neutral looks. It's my go-to matte brown. And it sets beautifully. So it's in my waterline, a lower waterline. And then on my upper waterline, I have the Zero pencil, again by Urban Decay. I really love that one. I just finished one. I just cracked into another one. Definitely a go-to pencil. Now between this one and Perversion, if I have a choice, I will take Perversion. And I do have a Perversion pencil, but I'm trying to be good and get through the Zero pencil more than using Perversion, because it would be my go-to. I would use it in every single look, but I do want to get through my Zero pencils first. Just trying to be good, otherwise I would just keep buying Perversion and I would not use my other black pencils. So I'm just trying to be good with how I manage my makeup collection. What else do I need to talk to you about? I did put a lipstick on, and it's not, I would probably have done more of a chocolatey rust look with this eye look, but I am trying to finish up this lipstick. It is the C211 by Makeup Forever, and I thought because it's a neutral look, I can get away with kind of a mauve-y lipstick. And it is very creamy, very comfortable, and my lips are pretty dry these days, so to me it was a really good combo. If I were to pick a different one, I might have picked the 1993 from Urban Decay. That one would have been quite nice, or the one of the Smashbox Be Legendary lipsticks. I don't have the name anymore, it kind of ripped off the package, but it's kind of a pinky brown, and I think that would have also looked pretty good here, but this one's not bad. It's just probably not the best pairing that I could possibly do, especially with the shirt I'm wearing. Anything else to talk about on in this palette? I have to say that this sheer application, I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but I think it worked beautifully. And I'm very curious to do a similar application with this one, which is a taupe. It's called Guilty Pleasure, is this one. And I'm kind of curious to use that one as well. So far, I have used most of the shadows in this palette. So as I said, I'm curious about this one. Definitely always curious about a plummy kind of aubergine color. This one definitely down here I want to use sooner than later. As a matter of fact, this combo might be quite nice. So yeah, many more looks. Of course, there are dozens and dozens of looks I could do, but many more looks that I'm particularly interested in trying in this palette. I thank Carly Mist for the request for the bronze color. I hope that I gave you some ideas on how to use it, at least one method of using it rather sheer and letting the other colors come through. Yeah, I think that this is a fantastic, very flattering going out look that most people could wear, even if your skin tone tends to go better on the silver side than the gold side. Whenever you do something on the very inner lid, it doesn't necessarily have to match your skin tone. You can get away with just about any color the further in you put it in your eye look. So just a thought there. For anything else that I have on my face, if you're wondering makeup-wise, it is always in the description box. Please check it out, as well as links to a bunch of other Pat McGrath looks and swatches and whatnot that I have in my collection. So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the look. Let me know what you think. I always love to hear what you have to say. And with that, I'll say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.